Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Today is July the 13th. There are 4 games in the WNBA for today, so it's a ton of action. We're just gonna dive right into it, man. We're just gonna jump right into it. Hit the like button for me if you can, if you join. Definitely helps the algorithm. Appreciate that, all that good stuff. Ton of information to share with you guys on these 4 games. And let's talk them out. Let's talk through some of these games, man. We got 1 o'clock start time game between Dallas and Indiana. Then a 3 o'clock start time game between Atlanta and New York, and Connecticut and Los Angeles will be playing in LA at 6. And Washington and Seattle also play in Seattle at 6 p.m. as well. So WNBA actually did us a solid today. We're not starting all these games at the same time. Let's jump into them for today, man. As we always do, we recap yesterday. 1-0 day, just Chicago plus the points. They end up winning the game outright. Shout out to Cardosa. Shout out to Angel Reese. Shout out to Tyler Marsh. Shout out to everybody from Chicago. Got the job done yesterday. Shared that play as soon as we went live yesterday. And that brings us back to almost a little bit closer to even on the full season. Transparency is key, right? We'll talk about the games for today. Let's go through the comments real quick and see who's here, and then we'll jump into the stream. Jana says went 2-2. Says good morning, Chris and Chad. Went 2-2 in the W last night. Cashed Alana Smith under 13.5 points in assists. Golden State plus 4. Loss on the under between the Lynx and the Sky at under 161. Golden State money line. Yeah, Golden State fall hard. I low key wanted to take that plus 5. I saw a plus 5 pop up, plus 4.5, and I was like, man, that looks so easy to take. And I didn't play it though. I stayed off of that. Prolific says, good morning, people of the chat. Went 2-0 and plus money. Says, let's keep it going. GLB says, what's good, Chris? What up, GLB? He says, give me the dream game over 165.5, 66.5. I'm glad you like that, GLB. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Chicago Cheetah says, skyscrapers for the plus money. I like it. What's up, Boogie Ace? Appreciate you for tapping in. Says he caught the Sky live in the 4th quarter, under 40.5. Let's cash again. Like it. What's up, Brian? Says, good morning, Chris. Chicago continuing to play hard to make us money. First half, Valkyries dependable. Thanks for yesterday. Let's find it today. I talked about that. I didn't even bet it, but the Valkyries, for whatever reason, they just let go of their rope, boy. They'll be back home in the next game playing against the Phoenix Mercury. That should be an interesting game, and I don't think Satu is going to be a part of that. Just kind of reading into that early. I think that game's be tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow, and we don't have a line for that game yet. What's up, Aaron? Appreciate you for tapping in. Mark, my guy, what's good? Kirk, appreciate you for tapping in. Big Marv says, my guy, let's cash. Let's get after it today, man. See if we can make some money on a Sunday. As I mentioned, hit the like button for me. Hit the like button for me if you can. Share the show, all that good stuff. It definitely helps the algorithm. We'll start with jaXon. jaXon went 1-1 yesterday. Angel Reese over her 12.5 boards was a loser. She finished with 11, which is crazy because I think she had 6 or 7 in the first half. I thought she was going to finish with 14, 15. And she's finished with just 11. Cardosa has been stealing some of those rebound attempts, some of those rebounds from her. And then Kayla Thornton, under her 14.5 points, was a winner yesterday. I think she finished with 10 points, even with that late 3-pointer that she hit with no time left. Or I think it might have been a 2-pointer. But either way, she did struggle yesterday from the field. Nobody else struggled, though. That game, both teams almost ended up with 100 points and with a super low total. And that's why I've been kind of staying away from some of these totals. But it's like that sometimes, man. So today, similar prompt, I'm sorry. 2 best WNBA player prop bets for today, 1 over, 1 under. jaXon tells me that it likes Caitlin Clark over her 8.5 assists, and I don't think we can argue with this one at all. It says that the number is best available on Bet Rivers at -121. It says that she has been a force in setting up her teammates, and the data strongly supports her going over her assist line today. So analysis is here. Caitlin Clark has been consistently hitting the over on her assists, clearing the line at 80% of her last 5 games and 70% of her last 10, with an average of 8.6 and 8.5 respectively. For the season, she set the over 72.73% of her games, averaging 8.64 assists. When playing at home, she set the over 71.4% of the time, averaging 8.71 assists. A key factor in this matchup, in this pick, is the matchup against the Dallas Wings. While the Wings are ranked 5th in opponent defense versus the position for assists, recent news indicates that the Dreams defense allowed the most assists per possession in the league. This suggests a favorable matchup for Clark's playmaking. Furthermore, In 3 games against the Wings last season, Clark hit the over on her assists 66% of the time, averaging a remarkable 13 assists per game. Her ability to consistently find open teammates, especially against a defense that struggles to contain assists, make the over 8.5 compelling play. And that makes a ton of sense. I hadn't even thought, I don't know why, because it's the highest total we've seen so far in the WNBA, but Caitlin Clark over her assist prop. I think last season was the time she got the triple-double as well against this team. So Caitlin Clark over her 8.5 assists. Like I said, that number is available on Bet Rivers, if you guys have access to Bet Rivers. The next play is under, right? So Erica Wheeler of the Seattle Storm, under her 1.5 3-point makes. Line does come in a little juiced at -150. Might be better things to find out there. I actually got an under that I'm gonna share with you guys that I like a lot today. So analysis is here. It says while Wheeler has hit the over 1.5 3-point makes in 60% of her last 5 games, her performance against the Washington Mystics tells a different story. In her 4 games against the Mystics during last season, Wheeler hit the under in 100% of her games, averaging just 0.5 3-point makes. The Mystics defense is 7th against the 3-point field goals for her position, indicating a relatively strong defensive matchup. Consider her historical struggles to convert from beyond the arc against this specific opponent, coupled with the Mystics' solid perimeter defense. The under 1.5 3-point makes for Erica Wheeler presents a strong statistical case. So take Erica Wheeler under her 1.5 3-point makes, kept Caitlin Clark over her 8.5 assists. Of course, that is jaXon. Link is in the description if you guys want to check it out for any of your other sports betting, handicapping, assisting needs. All right, so first game we have is the 1 o'clock game, Dallas Wings and the Indiana Fever. I was going back and forth yesterday on this game a lot. So let's jump into it. So we'll start with the injury report for the Dallas Wings. There will be no Dejanay Carrington. I think this will be like game number 7 or 8 that she's missed because of that rib injury. Arike Gumbawale is listed as probable, so it'll be her first game back after missing a handful of games as well. And there's no Maddie Siegrist. On the Indiana Fever side, the injury report is pretty clean. So we jump into the matchup. This Dallas Wings team is 5-6 against the spread on the road. They're just 2-9 straight up though. So they're not winning on the road at all. For Dallas, it'll be their 3rd straight road game. They've lost back-to-back games against the Phoenix Mercury and the Chicago Sky. Haven't covered either one of those spreads. They do have a 2-day rest advantage in this spot though. And on the Indiana Fever side of things, they're 6-6 both straight up and against the spread at the crib. This is their 5th straight home game. They're just 3-6 against the spread as a home favorite. Of course, this is the big, Paige Bueckers versus Caitlin Clark game. We saw these teams match up earlier this season. The Dallas Wings got absolutely obliterated in that game. They were getting just 2 points as a home dog. Their line had come all the way down, I think, from like 6. Because Caitlin Clark wasn't playing and the Indiana Fever were playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. They went into Dallas and absolutely smoked the Dallas Wings. I think they scored almost 94 points. I think it might have been 94 points in that game. So this is one where like the total opened yesterday at 170, 171. I think it was 170. Yeah, 170, 171, something like that. And it's now all the way up as high as 175. I kind of want to be the contrarian and take the under in this game. It's not a spot that you should, but I kind of feel like, there's so many different things that could go wrong, right? We just saw the Dallas Wings struggle to score the ball against the Chicago Sky. We saw them struggle to score the ball against the Phoenix Mercury. And the Indiana Fever defense is not necessarily that bad, in my opinion. So as much as I want to play, like as much as I thought the over was good, I just always get scared away with these super high totals. 175 is the highest total that we've seen in the WNBA so far this season. I see it all the way up to 175.5. I kind of want to come in on the opposite side and take the under. But if we're talking about like as far as like the spread goes, if we go back to the spread real quickly, Dallas is in a rare spot where they do have more rest before and after the game. Those teams are 55% ATS all time. So Dallas, that's a angle to try to take Dallas. And I want to be on Dallas too. I don't want to lay points with the Fever. This opened up at 10, and it went to 10.5, and now it's come back down to 9.5. And I agree. I think it's hard to want to take Dallas because they've sucked so bad, and they're like clearly in developmental like mode with the 2 guards out there, and with JJ Quigley and I guess Arike coming back, or James will go back to the bench, but that'll be helpful. You still got your roof, like Paige Bueckers, of course, has been playing really good basketball. So I kind of want to take Dallas. What I found in my notes and what I'll share with you guys is that as a double-digit home favorite coming off a game where they've covered this, the Indiana Fever, of course. Those teams are just 41% against the spread, just 42% against the spread this season as well. Just 40% ATS if they are at the rest disadvantage. So the Fever, like I said, coming off a game where they won and covered, and now they land double digits, is kind of very similar to the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever, Chicago Sky and the Minnesota Lynx game yesterday. Fever also, like I said, just 3-6 against the spread as a home favorite. They're 0-3 when they've been laying double digits so far this season. Dallas has been a double-digit dog 4 times. They've covered 3 of those games. And Dallas is also 3-1 against the spread after not covering in back-to-back games. So typically they respond in that third game. I kind of want to get there with Dallas. I think they're the right side. As far as the total goes, the first matchup between these two teams did have 180 points with a total of 167, and that game didn't even include Caitlin Clark with which the numbers showed that the Indiana offense is a lot better with Caitlin Clark on the floor. The defense takes a hit, not as good defensively. In their last 6 games, all of them have gone over the total between these two teams. And 8 of the last 9 have gone over the total as well. I just don't really want to get there with a 175.5. It just scares me a little bit. Too many things could go wrong, like the Dallas Wings not scoring for the last 3 minutes like they did against the Chicago Sky in the last game. As far as the under, when teams are playing games where they have more rest before and after the game, like the Dallas Wings are, typically those games go under about 55% of the time. This season, 57% of the time. Double-digit home favorites coming off a game where they covered are 12-0 to the under this season. And Dallas is also 3-1 to the under as a double-digit dog this season. So this is the spot where Dallas typically plays a little defense, man. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do so in this game, but I kind of want to get there with with Dallas plus the points in the under. Let's see what you guys are thinking about it here. And then we'll go to the next game. Try to keep the show moving today. Mark, good morning, my brother. Good morning, Billy. Appreciate you for tapping in. Season Vest this morning, Chris in chat. Craig says finally hit on these lovely ladies. Took aces, Asia double, Jackie points, rebounds, and assists. Joe Lloyd threes. It's been rough for sure. Appreciate you, Captain. Now I appreciate that for sure, Craig. I'm glad to hear that you've been hitting some winners, man. He says hit the like button as well. Brian says, what about Indy first half? He says, but 9.5 seems like a lot. I think they will win, though, if they play that connective defense. Yeah, and typically what we've seen is the Fever are a very inconsistent team at covering, right? So we always talk about, like, the variance in the WNBA, right? I always talk about, like, the inconsistencies with these teams. So one of the things I've been really paying attention to a lot is teams after they've come off a game where they've covered, right? So I'll just read this to you guys real quick. I looked into this morning. I didn't put it in my notes though. So teams after they've covered, the Chicago Sky have actually been the best team to bet on after they've covered their previous game. They're 81%, 9-2 against the spread. The Storm are second, right? 7-4 against the spread if they're coming off a game where they covered. The Valkyries are third, 7-5 against the spread if they've covered their previous game. And then the Dream are fourth, which we'll talk a little bit about the Dream in the next spot. The teams that are not doing well, that don't cover after, that don't do well after they've previously covered a game, the Sparks are 0-7 if they've covered. They have not covered back-to-back games all season. The Aces are 2-6, very inconsistent. And the Indiana Fever are 4-6. And I think I mentioned that already. 4-6 out of Indiana Fever. As far as teams coming off a game where they've won, because the Indiana Fever are coming off a game where they've won, they are just 4-6 ATS coming off a win as well. So previous cover or previous win, the Fever have not been able to put it together in back-to-back games, Brian. And that's one of the reasons I kind of want to play that as well. Gina says she likes Paige. I think the number's up to 17.5, but I couldn't talk you off. I'll go through player props in just a second, but I kind of like Paige in this spot as well. On FanDuel, I was looking at FanDuel this morning. They actually got a popular section where you can click game specials, and you can actually click not game specials, Caitlin Clark and Paige Becker specials. If you think Paige Beckers can outscore Caitlin Clark, which I think is possible, you can get Paige Beckers to outscore Caitlin Clark at -105. At -105 for just Paige to go out there and have more points. I think that that's doable in my opinion. Caitlin Clark has been struggling from the field. Dallas, I know it's gonna sound crazy, but Dallas has actually been guarding the 3-point line really well. We'll see, man. What's up, Free Sauce? Appreciate you for tapping in. Dirty Rig says, for the way the Fever Dream game ended, I have to think the Fever will cover this number against Dallas today. I would absolutely think the opposite, Dirty Rig. That's just my opinion, though. Maybe you could say the Fever maybe are, kind of getting back into rhythm. It was Caitlin Clark first came back, or you could say it was a letdown spot for the Atlanta Dream in that game. And I would venture to say that. I think 10.5 is too many. Free Sauce's page under her 9.5 rebounds and assists. She did go to the 2 guard. If you watched the last game, she had been playing a little bit off the ball, but I think that was because JJ was in there and it was because James was in there. You get Enrique back today, I think Paige will go back to the point guard, in my opinion. That could be scary. Ball says can't back Indy. Caitlin Clark in a shooting slump. That is a fact. Northwest Juggernaut says Fever should cover. I disagree. Free Sauce says also like Kelsey Mitchell over her 16.5 points. She has a track record of destroying the wings, apparently. She has been killing. What's up, Paul? Appreciate you for tapping in. Natalie, good morning. She says she's on a Fever minus 9.5. No sweat. Is their spot. Okay, so me and Natalie on the opposite side as well. I didn't bet it, though, but I kind of disagree, man. Taking Dallas minus plus the 10, I think. I don't trust none of these teams predicted to win by 10 or more. So to your point real quick, right? Let's just look at that. Teams laying double digits this season are double-digit favorites this season are 17, 24, and 1 against the spread. So they only covering 41%, which means that if you're fading them, you're winning 59% of your bets. If they're coming off a previous game where they won, they're 12 and 18 against the spread. So they're covering 40% of their games. If they're coming off a game where they won and covered, they are 8 and 14 against the spread, only 36%. So you're covering 64% of your bets, and the last 4 have all lost as well. The Lynx didn't cover against the Fever. The Lynx didn't cover against the Sky. The Storm didn't cover against the Sun, and then the Lynx didn't cover against the Sky. So, yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. I like that. Yeah, and that's the way I kind of see it as well. Me says he likes Paige over 16.5 points. She's been letting it fly. I like that. Mark says, with you, Chris, on the wings and the under. He's a Caitlin Clark shooting 28%, 11% from 3. Don't think Sophie shooting lights out like that again. Too many points, in my opinion. I agree. I think I'll go through player props in just a second, but I do agree with all this analysis here. Let me see if I can kind of get through the rest of the comments here. Jason says, like the under 175 as well. It's scary, bro. It's scary because that wings defense can be terrible. But the early start time, like, I don't know, man. I don't even know if I'm gonna bet it, honestly, but I thought people would love the over, but yeah, I like under. Let's see. Mark says Paige remembers the last time when Caitlin Clark played off her back. Freestyle says I like Paige points as well, but is Enrique playing today? Enrique is supposed to be back. Freestyle says Natasha Howard over 16.5. What's up, Chad? He says I got plus 10.5. We'll play the plus 8, not 8.5. I like it. So me and Chad agree here. Sophie is in ball out. Stephanie White's been mixing up the rotation a little bit, but she is supposed to be in for today. I didn't see anything with her being out. What's up, Marquis says I like Wings team total under 81.5 with Caitlin Clark over 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Okay. Now he says, listen, the Fever are favorites for a reason. With the Wings missing all those players, and on the road, the Wings are only missing Dejanay in this spot though. Natalie, they're not missing anybody else. Maddie Seeger's been out for like a month, if not longer. So, yeah, I think I don't know. I'll tell you guys why I didn't play it though. I will tell you guys why I didn't play it. So when I was looking into, and maybe this is not even a reason not to play it, but when I was looking into the Wings games with high totals. And I'm gonna just share my screen so you can see this real quick, and then we'll get over to the player props and get to the next game. So when I was looking into this, I'll just share this real quick. This is what I didn't like for the Wings. So if you look at the Wings games, right, and you look at the totals, all right. So these totals right here that are above 170, this tells me that the Wings struggle in games where it's a high total, right? So if we just zoom into this specifically, right? If we look at totals that are greater than 165, 169.5. So these are totals that are above 170. The Wings are 0-4 straight up, 1-3 against the spread, 3-1 to the over. They're giving up an average of 93 points. And you can see here, right, to the Sky, gave up 97. To the Sky, gave up 94. To the Sparks, gave up 93. These are games that they didn't win or they didn't cover. And then to the Aces, they did cover, but they lost the game 84-88. So I know that, you know, we've seen some different pieces in, and these games right here probably had Dejanay in, and, you know, they weren't going through the experimenting phase. But this is what scared me off of taking the Wings plus the points, because they can absolutely get blasted in these games. Even still though, look at this: 11-point loss and a 14-point loss, a 5-point loss and a 4-point loss. So this is just what scared me a little bit, but it's still Wings plus the points and nothing for me at all. Wings plus the points and nothing for me at all. As far as player props in this game go, I'll go back to sharing my screen. Go over to the money baller. I mean, not the money baller. I'm sorry. Go over to Outlier. I'm looking at Arike. I like Arike unders today. She's listed at 16.5. If we look at her points prop here, you can see that she's under in back-to-back games. But I mean, even more so, right? It's her first game play. You can see it on the screen right there. She hasn't played since the 28th. So that's like more than 2 weeks, you know, since Arike has played. And then I look at the defense for this Dallas Wings team, and I look at this defense for the Indiana Fever. The Indiana Fever are actually the second best defense against the spot up shot, right? This is not a team that gives up a lot of points from spot up shooting. Arike gets about 22% of her points from spot up shots. She also gets about 14% of her points in transition, and the Indiana Fever are top 5 in that category as well. So I think Arike first game back, she definitely could struggle in this spot. I want to take Arike under her 16.5 points. I do already have this added to the short list. Yeah, I think Arike could struggle. I think she could definitely struggle in her first game back. If we just look at some of her head-to-head matchups, when they played earlier this season, she was right at 15 points. Last season, she did have some good games. These, of course, did not have Paige Beckers in there. So I kind of think Arike goes under his 16.5 points. And that's what I would look at for this game. As far as Caitlin Clark, the play that jaXon mentioned was Caitlin Clark over her assist prop. You can see that she first game back against the Valkyries, there's not a great spot for assists at all. She went under, but you can see she's over in 4 of her last 5 games. And I want to say in our head-to-head matchups against this team specifically, so if we go back to 2024 season and we look at head-to-head, she had, this was her career high. I remember this game, 19 assists, 12 assists, and then 8 assists in the 3 games that she played against them last season. So it could be a little bit of a discount if you think that this game is going to be played fast-paced and you think, you know, high total equals more potential assists for Caitlin Clark. It definitely could be an over. The last play I want to look at, because I know a couple people mentioned it in the chat, was Paige Beckers over her points prop. So if we go look at Paige real quick, we look at her points. There's a link in the description for Outlier if you guys want to check it out. You can get 7-day free trial if you're interested. So Paige, last 10 games, up and over 70% of her last 10. You can see that here, 3 of her last 4. If we look at Paige, you can come down here, see she's shooting 45% from the field, 32% from the 3-point line. I kind of feel like her offense is going to be needed a little bit more than her facilitation in this game. Her assist prop, I think, was listed at 5.5. I think she's going to shoot the ball a little bit more, in my opinion, in this game. If you look at the defense for the Indiana Fever, they're a team that they do a really good job against the pick and roll ball handler. They're second in the WNBA, and they have really good mid-range defense as well. They're actually number 1. And that's what Paige is, a mid-range assassin, right? She's a mid-range. She loves getting to the midi. So take with that information, do what you want. I think it's a big game from Paige in this one, though. I wouldn't be betting Paige under. All right, now we'll move over because I feel like we did a lot on that first game. Just kind of summarizing. If you joined late, you can go back and listen to the full analysis. But I like the points. If you can still get a +10, I like the Paige. I like the Wings +10. I would be contrarian and go under 175.5. Looks like it's available on Caesars. And then I like Arike Ogunbowale under her 16.5 points. All right, so that's what I like. Let's see what else you guys are seeing here, and then we'll get to the next one. Let's see. Free picks risk taker says, who's stopping Leah Boston in the paint? Probably nobody. I was looking at Aaliyah Boston as well. I think her points is listed at 14 and a half. It's on the short list, the short list, which is why I didn't mention it. But yeah, I think she had 21 the last time that these two teams played. Dallas has your roof now. She's not a great defender. We'll see. I do like Aaliyah Boston. I wouldn't be betting her under today. Free picks. I agree with you there. All right, let's see what else y'all saying here. What up, Kev? Appreciate you for tapping in. GLB says, Chris, check this out. Dogs on a 2 or more games straight up. Dogs on a 2 or more games or more straight up and ATS losing streak are 15-4 ATS. I like it. That's what I've been looking at. Trying to find ways to back the dogs, GLB. I absolutely love this. So, all right, let's look at that real quick. Season in dogs and streak equals less than 2 and ATS streak equal less than 2. I love it, Jimmy. I see it. My dog, Dallas plus the points, man. I said the same thing. All right, let's go over to the next game, which is the Dream and the Liberty. Let me just double check the line. I think it is moving. Yeah, it's actually down to 3.5. You can still get a 4. All right, so this open 4.5. It was actually 4.5 this morning when I put these graphics in. It's now down to 3.5 is consensus though. So Atlanta taking some money here, and the total is 167. So that's about the same. It opened 167.5. It came down a little bit, and like I said, the spread was at 4.5. I think I might have saw 5 yesterday as well, and now it's come down. Money coming in on Atlanta in this spot. So you can see the numbers here. Atlanta third in offensive rating, 8th in defensive rating, 5th in net rating. The New York Liberty, because they got off to that super hot start this season, like they were the best team in the WNBA before Jacko Jones got hurt. It wasn't even close. I think they started the season 10-0. So their season numbers are holding up. But if you look at their last 5 games, they have not been as great, of course, right? So the New York Liberty are 9th in offensive rating, 9th in defensive rating, and 9th in net rating over their last 5 games. So you got to take these numbers with a grain of salt here. Their pace is they're still playing really fast. Number 1 on the full season, number 2 over the last 5 games. So we start with the injury report. Isabel Harrison is going to be back. Natasha Cloud is going to be back. No Jacko Jones, of course. And then I didn't see anybody on the injury report for Atlanta. We look at this Atlanta Dream team. They're 4-5 straight up on the road now. 5-4 against the spread. Second straight road game, coming off that 17-point loss where they got absolutely smoked in the second half by the Indiana Fever. Just couldn't stop turning the ball over. They just really, really struggled in the second half. And Bree Jones, I think, being in foul trouble also hurt because Brittany Griner, it was hard for her to do anything, in my opinion. I'm not a big Brittany Griner fan. On the other side for the Liberty, though, they're 5-4-1 against the spread at the crib. Still just 1-8-1 against the spread in their last 10 games, though. And this is their 4th straight home game. So a couple things I looked at here. Teams, as far as the situational spot goes, these teams have split on the regular season. Both games going over. Atlanta covering both games as well. Atlanta has actually played the New York Liberty really, really strong. They've covered 4 straight against the Liberty, 2 of which this season, and 6 of their last 7 games if you go back to last season when these teams met in the playoffs. So the way I kind of see the game going is I want to be on Atlanta. I didn't bet it. I'm gonna get the worst of the number, but Atlanta plus 4.5 or Atlanta team total over 81.5 is what I wrote in my notes. What I like about Atlanta is they've been a pretty resilient team. I just told you guys teams that are coming off a loss, teams that are coming off an ATS loss, trying to find a ways to back those really strong teams. Atlanta's actually been the second best team. So Atlanta is 6-1 straight up, 5-1-1 against the spread if they're coming off a loss this season. They haven't put together too many back-to-back bad performances. That's the second highest covering percentage in the WNBA outside of the Minnesota Lynx, who are 3-0-1 against the spread when they're coming off a game where they didn't win. Atlanta, if you like the team total a little bit more, they've gotten to 82 points or more in 6 of their 7 games when they're coming off a loss this season. One of the 2 games against the Liberty, they did finish right at 81 points, but that was a game that Jacko Jones was a part of, and we know how much her impact means specifically on the defensive end for this New York Liberty team. So I like Atlanta plus the 4.5. I like Atlanta team total over 81.5. I have not bet either one of them yet. Atlanta has played in 3 straight overs versus the New York Liberty. Atlanta has played in 5 straight overs overall, and they're 8-2 to the over in their last 10 games as well. I know the Liberty have been going under. I know their offense has really been struggling, but defensively, they're still 9th in the last 5 games. They're giving up 86.2 points per game as well, and they still play at the second fastest pace. So this was a pretty easy one for me. I think Atlanta's offense will bounce back. As far as player props in this game, I looked at Bree Jones. So we'll go back to Outlier really quickly. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this for all the games because I got a lot of player props that I want to share with you guys for the day. But I'm not gonna go back and forth between to show you guys. You can look them up on your own time if you want to. But what I was looking at in this game was Bree Jones over her rebound prop. So let's go here. So she's coming off a game. So 6.5 is the number. She's coming off a game where she had 3 versus the Indiana Fever. But she was in foul trouble in this game, right? We already touched on that a little bit. The Liberty are the second worst rebounding team in the WNBA. They allow the most offensive rebounds as well. Bree Jones is over. You can see here in 5 of her last 7 games as well. She hasn't gotten to 7 against the Liberty this season. You can see here just 3 and 6. But something tells me, she has a pretty good game here on the rebound front. So I like Bree Jones over 6.5 boards. It says the line's -125, but shop around, see where you get the best of the number. The other player prop that I'm looking at, and I feel like this is a little bit of a sleeper, is actually on Phoebish. I feel like her number is a tad bit too high. This is actually one of my favorites today. 9.5. It says it's -145, but I think I saw better odds than that earlier today. So Phoebish went over in this game here against the Aces. She had 15 points. But Atlanta's number 1 in spot up defense in the WNBA. If you know anything about Phoebish, all she does is take corner threes and above the break threes. The Aces, when this game against the Aces, they were also down Isabella Harrison, and Natasha Cloud. And if you just look at her field goal attempts, she shot the ball 11 times. This is a little bit of an outlier performance, right? You can clearly see here that she typically takes about 5 shots per game. With 5 attempts or fewer this season, she's under in 8 of her 10 games. She's also under 70% of her games at 9.5 on the full season so far this season. So if I zoom out, you can see that she has only hit the over in 3 games if her points prop are listed at 9.5. So I like Phoebish under. I like Bree Jones over. Just kind of sharing some thought processes with you guys there. All right. That's enough for the player props. I'll go through the comments real quick, see what you guys are thinking. I like Atlanta. Probably team total now, just because I feel like I missed the best of the number. But if you can get a +4, I think that's cool. And I do think Atlanta should be able to score the basketball in this game, even with Phoebish being back. I look for Atlanta to be a little bit more efficient, cover the spread, and hit their team total over. And I like Leone Phoebish under her points, Brianna Jones over her rebounds. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. So let's go back to the top. Canada over her 5.5 assists. Now 6.5, Marie says. I didn't really look into Canada, but I know she's been dishing. I know she has been dishing. What else y'all seeing here? Ooh, Season Vest is over 150 people watching with 20 likes. The math not mathing, folks. Hit the like, man. Please take 1 second. Just take a 5-second intermission, man. Hit the like button if you can. I'm going through all of the notes, all of the time and effort. The least I can ask for. I'm not asking you to send me money. I'm just asking you to hit the like button. 20 people watching. If we don't get 50% ratio, man, I might come back after the All-Star break. I might come back after the All-Star break, man. There's only a couple games anyway, Monday and Tuesday, and then we got the All-Star break, man. Please hit the like button. Mark says he played Atlanta plus 4.5. Atlanta's hot, Libs undersized. I agree with all of that. Jason says same. He got plus 4.5 as well. Jason says Canada has been a lot more aggressive lately. I watched the post-game interview, Jason. She said that they were trying to minimize Alicia Gray's productivity, and they did a really good job. Jordan Canada had 26 points in the first half. I know she finished with 30, and she didn't do much in the second half because they made some adjustments. But we'll see how the New York Liberty try to guard, them today. Because Alicia Gray, I think she struggled. Her 3-point prop was 2.5. The Liberty's 3-point defense has been pretty bad recently. But she hasn't hit three threes against them this season. She's hit 2 in both games. So we'll see how that goes. Ryan Howard was somebody I was also looking at, and I'm trying to I looked through all these player props either last night or this morning. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys my thoughts on them. Ryan Howard's listed at 15.5. She, for whatever reason, has really struggled against this Liberty team this season. I think I saw 2 for 8 and 3 for 14. And Ryan Howard is somebody that's so talented, but she could just really go out there and lay an absolute egg at times. So take with that information, do what you want. I think it could be a big game for Bree Jones. Of course, the Liberty been giving it up on the interior as well. That's the way I kind of see it. Don't really want to play on Ryan Howard at all. JLB says, I took the over 165 here. He got a trend here that says a team that lost by 15 or more, or their opponent previous margin was by 15 or less, and the total is 165 at home. So let's look at this real quick and see what this trend looks like. I like over too, though. I do like over, and that's this season. Okay, so we got previous margin is greater than 15. So this is the dream, losing by 15 points or more, or the opponent previous margin is 15 or less, and the total is greater than or equal to 165. Oh no, I put and in there like an idiot. All right, hold on. All right, it's not and, it's or. 14-4 to the over this season. Games averaging regular total about 167, which is where this one is, and they're going over by about 7, almost closer to 8 points per game. They're averaging right at 100. And quick math. Hold on, is this double? Oh, this might be double. All right, so hold on. Let me just go. Yeah, this is double. Okay, so it's not 14-4 to the over. It's actually 7-2 to the over. So these games are averaging right at 175 points, right at 175, which is 9 points over. It gives you a little value here. I like this. I like this a lot, GLB. I think I just want to go with the Atlanta Dream Team total, but that makes a lot of sense. Thomas says Liberty gang going under. Too much cardio up and down the court, not scoring enough baskets. They can go in droughts for sure. They can definitely go in droughts. Dream went out right, DJ Process. I like that a lot. GLB says the over 7-2-1. If either team is off a loss by 15 points or more, and the total today is higher than 160. I like it. I like it a lot. Brian says he likes Atlanta +4 as well. He says Stewie over her 10.5 rebounds and assists. Favorite play of the day. Seasoned vet says he likes Sabrina. Sabrina be having all the opportunity, man. Sabrina over her 24.5 points and assists, which this brings me to this real quick, seasoned vet. If you like Sabrina, if you're looking for value, I think Natasha Cloud, first game being back, she's listed at like 10.5. She's been going crazy. She's been shooting the ball a lot. And she's over. I'm not going to pull it up and put it on the screen, but I'll go back and find it real quick for you guys. Because I was thinking Phoebus over or Natasha Cloud. Phoebus under, because I like Phoebus under, or Natasha Cloud over, right? So Natasha Cloud points are listed at, let's find this real quick. So she's listed at 9.5. She's gone over in 4 straight games, 14, 20, 23, and 12 for Natasha Cloud. And you can still get her at 10 points, score 10 points at +103 right now. If you think she can keep it going, then absolutely. And against Atlanta in the last game that they played, she had 20 points. So just to kind of something to take into consideration. I feel like the books have kind of set these player props low when players are coming off injuries, kind of like Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson had 25 at halftime yesterday. Not to compare Asia Wilson to Natasha Cloud, of course, but Asia Wilson had 25 at halftime yesterday, and she had the softest number of the whole season, listed at 20 points. So that's that. Let's see. What else should I say here? Niley likes Dream plus 4.5 in the over. So I like that. Like we're on the same page. Real DJ X says he likes Paige Beckers over 1.5 threes. I just don't. I'm scared off Paige a little bit because I feel like she don't shoot a lot of threes. But don't let me talk you off. Killen says hit the like button. Hit the damn like button. Appreciate that, man. Alfred says great show. Hit the like. Appreciate that. Timeout says Ryan Howard is good but overrated. High volume scorer, 4th year in the league, and never shoots 40%. We got to start having that conversation. Timeout. I agree. She's so skilled, bro. She is so skilled. She can guard every guard. She probably can guard post as well. She typically don't, but she's just so inconsistent with her scoring the basketball. Her 3-point prop always listed at 3.5, but she shoot 14 of them a game, and she gonna go 3 for 10, or she gonna go 4 for 13 from the 3-point line. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's so much untapped potential, though. I like Ryan Howard. I like her a lot. I like her versatility. She's definitely versatile. Gusto says, kind of like the Liberty here. Don't let us talk you off. Everybody else on the opposite side. D-Bookie says, what it do, Chris? Been a minute since I caught your show live, but give me the Liberty money line and the -4.5. So some Liberty love coming in late. Marquis says Ryan Howard is just a 3-point shooter, and it's so crazy that she is because she's kind of built like Kevin Durant. Like, she could go to the midi and be absolutely unstoppable, get to the rim and be absolutely unstoppable, but it does feel like she's settled a little bit too much, in my opinion. All right, let's keep pushing. We got 2 more games to get through. Next one, Sun and Sparks, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I really didn't know what to do with this game. All right, so it opened with the Sparks laying 11.5 points. Total was at 160.5. It's now up to 164, so a lot of money coming in on over, and the spread has gotten smaller. So I guess a little bit of money coming in on Connecticut in this spot. The spread is down to 11. All right, so we start with the injury report. Marina Mabry is still out. Jayla Brown is game time decision, and of course, no Cam Brink for the Seattle Storm. I was listening to Lynn Roberts, who's the new coach for the Seattle, the Los Angeles Sparks yesterday after practice, I think it was, and she was just talking about like a sense of urgency for the Sparks, like how, they need to be better than they were last year, how they've been very inconsistent. They really struggle with turning the ball over. They really need to go on a run. These 2 games at home, they play Connecticut today, and then they play the Mystics on Tuesday. They really need both of these games before the break. Just kind of looking at where they are in the standings. Maybe they win it. I don't know if they cover it. No, I kind of feel about the Sparks, man. I know the Connecticut Sun are god awful. Don't get it twisted. They're 5-6 ATS on the road because they typically are getting these super big numbers. They've won one of their 11 road games that, of course, came against the Indiana Fever about 3 weeks ago. This is their 2nd straight road game for the Connecticut after coming off back-to-back covers against the Seattle Storm. One at home, of course, for the Camp Day game last Thursday, and then they covered on Wednesday, and then they covered on Friday night in Seattle as well. You look at this Sparks team, it's not a lot to make you want to bet on them, man. They're 1-8, both straight up and against the spread at home. They're the worst ATS team, the worst regular season team at home for whatever reason. Just 3-6-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. This is their 2nd straight home game. They've lost 3 of their last 4. I know that the Sparks are capable of beating Connecticut. I couldn't put my money on the Sparks, though. Connecticut, if you look at, I know these teams are totally different. The last year, Connecticut Sun are, absolutely, different. They got a different coach. Stephanie White's now gone. No Alyssa Thomas. No DeWanna Bonner. Who else did they have last year? No Nalissa Smith. But Connecticut has actually beat the Sparks 10 straight times, maybe even more than that. 10 straight times. They've covered 8 of the last 10 as well. I couldn't quite get there on anything in this game. I don't know what to do with it from a total perspective either. I was thinking, all right, like is it going to be a fast-paced game? Connecticut's offense look good because the Sparks defense has been bad. And I guess that's what people are betting on because the total is going up. I have no idea what to do with this game, man. Connecticut plays super slow. Sparks play super fast. Neither team plays a lot of defense at all. I guess that lends itself to an over, but I struggle with Connecticut being able to consistently score the basketball as well. I like I said, this is the game that I complete pass for me. The head-to-head matchups between the two teams are actually 4-0 to the under in the last 10, but the Sparks have played 3 of their last 4 games over the total, 7 of their last 10 over the total as well. So I guess money coming in on the over. I don't want to be involved in this game though. Maybe something live. Nothing really stuck out to me at all. From a player prop perspective, I think the thing that makes the most sense will probably be a look at if Kelsey Plum is going to continue to play point guard, which we just saw her absolutely eat up. I think she had 12 assists in that game on what was that, Friday? I think it was 12 assists in that game on Friday against one of the better defenses in the league, the Minnesota Lynx. Her 5.5 assists seem really easy in this spot. Connecticut is a team that allows the third most assists in the WNBA. 5.5 assists just seems so easy. Plum is over in 4 of her last 5 games, 6, 7, 8, and 12. The under came against the Indiana Fever, where she had just 3. This is the first matchup between these two teams this season, but I would play on Kelsey Plum assists over 5.5. I think, if anything, the Sparks may speed up this Connecticut Sun team. Connecticut's also been playing a little bit faster as of late as well. So I guess that's the way I would lean if I had to play anything here. It'd be just on Kelsey Plum to go over on her assist prop here at 5.5. That number seemed very, very doable in my opinion. So Kelsey Plum over her 5.5 assists would be the way that I would bet this game. I don't want to touch the side or the total. Probably a look towards Connecticut, though. I don't really want to lay points with the Sparks, especially double digits. And I want to check one thing real quick just before I go through the comments. So I just want to see the biggest point spread that the Sparks have been laying so far this season. So the Sparks biggest spread will be this one. It don't look good. So the Sparks laid 10.5 against the Valkyries. This was on opening night. They lost that game out. Well, this is the second matchup because it was at home. They lost that game outright. Didn't cover. Didn't win, didn't cover. They lost to the Sky. They were laying 8 points, lost that game by 7. Didn't cover, didn't win. They were laying 7 to the Valkyries. Didn't cover, didn't win. So yeah, it's kind of hard. The most points that they've laid and covered were to the Valkyries, and that was the first game of the season. This was opening night back on May the 16th. So it's kind of difficult to lay this many points with the Sparks. I guess it, by nature, it would be Connecticut plus the points in this spot. Here's the thing with Connecticut though. I wrote this down and put it in my notes because I wanted to make sure I shared this. Where did I write it at? Here we go. So Connecticut last 8 road games, they've lost by 14 to Seattle, by 39 to the Lynx, 16 to the Storm, 26 to the Aces, 24 to the Valkyries, 17 to the Fever, 37 to the Mystics, 48 to the Liberty. That's what makes it difficult to want to bet on Connecticut. But you're just picking the lesser of the two evils in this spot. And to me, the lesser of the two evils would still be taking the points with Connecticut. They've shown that they can. I guess they've shown that they can kind of, continue to compete with teams. So that's that. I guess that would be my thought process. It'd be Connecticut plus the points or nothing at all in this spot. See what the best number you can get real quick. I'll add it to the short list. Point spread, Connecticut plus 11.5 is available at minus 118 on Caesars. I'm sorry, on BetMGM. Yeah, that would be the way that I would look. As far as team total goes, let's see what Connecticut team total is. Can't be that high. Can't be that low against the Sparks defense. They're 75.5. I don't really want to 76.5. I don't really want to play them over that because their offense can really, really go have a 13-point quarter or a 12-point quarter, even against the Sparks defense probably. So those are the two things that I would play. Connecticut plus the points, Kelsey Plum over her 5.5 assists. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one, and then we'll move over to the last one. Free Sauce likes Kelsey Plum over 5.5 assists. Yeah, it's a very tough scene. So to this point though, I'm not gonna take the time to put the last 5 graphics up here as well. But what's crazy about Connecticut though, Jason, is that last 5 games, all the numbers are still the same, right? So it's just rinse and repeat, right? The last 5 games they're 13th in every statistical category as well. Full season numbers are what you guys see here. On the last 5 games, they're all of the stuff is the same. The only thing that changed is their offensive rating got a little bit better. They go from a 91.6 to a 95.6. The defensive rating got a little bit worse. They go from a 112 to a 115. Their net rating has gotten a little bit better. They were minus 20 on the full season. Last 5 games, they're minus 19.6. So it's about the same. Points per game scored, they're averaging 74 in the last 5 games, 71.7 over the full season. They're giving up 87.9 points over the full season, and they've given up 89.4 points over the last 5 games. So defense has actually been a little bit worse. Pace, they're 13th on the full season. Last 5 games, they're actually 11th. So that's the only thing that's changed. But yeah, they still struggle in pretty much every category. Sparks should be able to score in this game, but yeah, I guess 87.5. I would bet over. I would bet over if I was going to bet this game as well. Let's see what else you guys are seeing here. The bookie like Sun plus 11. I'm not from Maryland. My mom actually from Maryland, PG County. What up, Dom? It's got to be over, right? I think that is the right side. I do agree with that. Sparks minus 11, Drew says. So on the opposite side here, Storm first quarter. I think they cover early. Drew says over 162. Mark says he got Sun plus 11.5. Sparks terrible, under 161. Sun 15, 6-1 to the under. Here's the thing though, Mark. The Sparks are 13-7 to the over, 65%. So when you get these teams that play super fast, which we see the Sparks are 3rd in pace on the full season. If I remove this comment, you can see that they're 3rd in pace. The Connecticut Sun are 13th in pace. It makes it really difficult to bet these totals, in my opinion. If we look at the Sparks games this season where they've had a low total, 160, let's just go 160. Let's go 164, right? So Sparks in total is less than 164. They are 2-6, 2-7 straight up, 3-6 against the spread, 6-3 to the over. So they've actually allowed, let's see, Delta points allowed. They've allowed every team to go over their team total except 2. The Lynx got to 82. And I think they were at 85.5. And then the first game, the Valkyries got to 67. And that was the first game for the Valkyries. So can't really give them too much slack there. The Sparks opponents are averaging 87 points when the total is less than 164. And in this spot, the Fever got to 87, the Lynx got to 82, the Storm got to 98, the Lynx got to 101, the Valkyries got to 89, the Dream got to 88. So maybe just Connecticut team total over. Maybe that's the way you could play it. Let's see. Now, Ali says Sparks get the job done today. He says they will run them out the gym and over. Sparks might get to 90. I could definitely see over. I don't know. I think Connecticut can keep up, though. Do think they can keep up. Trey says he likes Derek and Hamby over 18.5 points and assists. Looks good. Justin says I'm taking all the overs today. GLB says I have a strong trend on the Sparks, but they are 1-4 ATS with the rest advantage. Don't know if I can do it. However, they are 4-1 in this spot to the over. That makes a lot of sense. No chance in hell ball out says I'm laying with the Sparks. Chad says, man, some of these chat takes are wild. Chad, what you think about this game? Let me know what you think. Lee Anthony says he likes Tina Charles 10-10 at plus 164. She's been hooping. She has been hooping. Dirty Rig says, no way I'm laying points with the Sparks against anyone, not even the Sun. Over a pass. How about the first half spread? Been a look? Nah, not for me. Not for me, Prolific. Spark spot, taking the points. You mean laying the points. Dom says ain't no way in hell the Sparks should be laying double digits against anybody. And I told you guys, so far this season, when they've been laying double digits, they've laid double digits one time. And they lost the game all right to the Valkyries. They've laid 7 points 3 times or more. They've lost every single game. Not by ATS. They've lost every single game outright. But we said that already. Valkyries in the sky. All better than the this team here though. Season Vet says he likes Tina Charles over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists. History is also good. Also thinks the books is off. Having her double at plus 700 is crazy. I do agree with that. Tina Charles can go out there and get you a double, especially against the sky. I mean, especially against the Sparks. I agree with that. Plus 700 seems like crazy value. Dom says, I think the Sun play up to the Sparks pace. So that's an over, sounds like. Joe B says, rest at home favorites all for home loss are 15-1 this season. Straight up, 11-5 ATS. I think that's why the Sparks are favorite. This trend is strong. So rested home favorites all for home loss are 15-1 this season, straight up 11-5 against the spread. I kind of looked into that as well, Jibba. I just don't think it fits the Sparks. The Sparks are 12th in opponent points per game allowed, 87.2 in their last 5 games. Maybe I might take Connecticut team total over, honestly. Maybe I'll take Connecticut team total over in this spot. That number seems super low. I'm gonna actually write that down. I'm gonna add it to the short list. I'm gonna make a couple of these plays on the short list today. I just haven't made any quite yet. Connecticut team total over. What I say the number was? Team total Connecticut 70, juice 75.5, or I'll just put 76.5 down. 76.5 for Connecticut. That's the ugly play, but Connecticut's been cashing these ugly plays, man. They absolutely have been. All right, let's see what else we got in the chat, and then we'll get to the next game. DJ says he caught the over 162. He likes Hartley and Sheldon play. I think Hartley and Sheldon play well again. They could. They absolutely could. Mark says he plays some plus 11.5. We'll stay off the total. Ain't no way I'm laying double digits with the Sparks. Taught us better than that. Yeah, that's a fact. I can't lay it either. De'Erica Hamby over 15.5. Natalie says y'all letting that one win from the Sun think become a trend. A great team to cover a high scoring team. Compare all the teams Sparks and Sun play. Sparks have played way better to their opponent. She says stand in this heater. Okay. Chad says I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole is what I think. Connecticut plus 11. I like your plum look. Only dog in the league for me right now. Okay. Yeah. Man, this is ugly, boy. The Sky have been covering. I mean, the Sun have been covering these big numbers. Now, granted, they've been getting 18.5, 19, 20. I think boy, it's ugly. And that's why I'll just come in here and talk this one out with y'all. It won't nothing I really wanted to play in this game. Ball out says Sun team total was 74.5 last night, so I'm getting the worst of the number. Hate that. Young Fleece says Sparks haven't won a home game since May 25th. This is going to be the get right spot for them just to do it for their fans. Yeah, they do it. Do they win by 12 though? Not sure, man. Not sure at all. All right, let's get over to the last game. Which to me was another difficult one. The Mystics and the Storm. So just double check the line. It's up to 7 now. So Seattle, money coming in on Seattle. They open 5.5 up to 7 total. Open 159. It's still kind of 159-ish, 158s out there as well. No injuries to report on either side, right? Both teams pretty healthy. The Mystics are 3-7 straight up on the road, 5-5 against the spread. This is their first game on the West Coast. Remember, they just beat the Aces a couple days ago. They have failed to cover 4 straight games, but they've won back-to-back games. First game, like I said, on the West Coast, 3-3 against the spread as a road dog. And the Seattle Storm on the opposite side, very untrustworthy team at home, just 4-6 against the spread. At home, 5-5 against the spread. 4-6 ATS at home, 5-5 against the spread. 5-5 straight up at home. Hold on, no, I had to miss that. I mixed that up. Don't pay attention to that. Seattle hasn't been trustworthy at home, though, is what I'm saying. They're playing their second straight home game, back-to-back non-covers against Connecticut, 1 on the road, 1 at home. They're 2-5 against the spread at home. That's what I was trying to get to. I don't really want to lay a lot of points with Seattle, man. I don't like the spot for Washington. You know, it being their first game. They only had 1 travel day, I think, in here as well, because they did play on Friday night, so they probably used yesterday as a travel day to get to Seattle, traveling all the way cross country. This is the first meeting of the season. Team split 2-2 last season, 3-1 to the under in those games. I look at Seattle, and it's not that they aren't a good team. It's just that they really struggle to put it together for a full game. And that's where you kind of want to fade some of these teams that the books, you know, have kind of overvalued, thinking that, you know, like they're going to be great and they're going to be able to end up covering the spread. It's an ugly play, but I guess I kind of lean towards the Mystics. I just don't really know what to do with this game. From a total perspective, I do think this is one that could go up and over, though. Couple things that I looked at as far as the total goes. Just some last 5 game number stuff. Real quick. Let me pull this up real quick. So Storm and Mystics. This Mystics team is not great offensively, right? They're actually the second worst offensive rated team in the WNBA. I think I said over. I meant to say under. So the Washington Mystics are 12th in offensive rating, both on the full season and the last 5 games. You can see that. You can see that on the screen. They're actually number 1 in defensive rating over the last 5 games, 5th in defensive rating on the full season. So defense has been showing up. They do play fast, 5th over the full season, 3rd in pace over the last 5 games. The Seattle Storm have actually dropped to 12th in pace over the last 5 games. They're also the second best defensive rated team, and their offense is actually taking a slide. They're 11th in offensive rating over their last 5 games. So both of these teams continue to play how they have been playing. Storm are 12th in scoring over the last 5 games as well, but 3rd in defense. Then we should see a little bit of a slower style game. I don't really like playing these totals under 160 because they typically fly over and land about 200 points. But I guess I agree with the total going down. Over 159.5. I think they're at 159. I think there are like still a couple 159s. But that's the way I would look in this game. I think both of these teams can slow the other team down based on the numbers that I see. Don't really want to get there with any of the player props. They didn't really jump out to me. And I just feel like this is a really, really tough game. So I'm not going to waste your guys' time here. I think if I had to bet it, it'd be Mystics plus the points, though. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Under 159, Drew says. So agreement there. Natalie says she likes Mystics plus 7 or Mystics team total under. Chad says let the line top out and take the Mystics. Kind of agree with that. Gabby continuing to kill. 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. They never change her line. It's so crazy. She went over in the last game. It was on the short list. I didn't bet it, though. She's invested anytime Gabby Williams point rebounds at 22.5 or better. The over is just the system play. And I agree with that for sure. Yeah, I put that on the screen already. Seattle spread or pass, Drew says. Brian says, is their first meeting of the year? It is. It is their first meeting of the year. TV Grid says he's going back to Gabby as well. Over 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Lane likes it as well. He says, but the more I see it brought up to the line, the less I like it. Skylar got to be in place somewhere too. Points or maybe rebounds and assists. I can see that. Ball out says Washington plus 6.5. Favorite bet of the day. Okay. Plug my nose and played the under. Dirty Rig says. Freesaw says I second Gabby Williams. You like the 10th. No, to like Gabby makes a lot of sense. Champ says Seattle over 159. Trey says I'm leaning Mystics and under, but can't get there yet. Maybe an alternate parlay of the two to get some better numbers. Got time to think. Yeah, this is a 6 o'clock start time game as well, so you definitely got some time to stick. Season Vest says don't sleep on Willer over 3.5 assists. So the Mystics actually are 3rd in assists allowed on the season, both last 5 games and on the full season. So the Mystics don't give up a ton of assists. Just something to keep in mind. And I want to say the Mystics go under on the road. Let me just double check. The Mystics are 3-7 straight up on the road. 5-5 against the spread. They're losing by average of just 2 points per game, though. And they have failed to cover back-to-back games. Remember the last time the Mystics were on the road, they lost to the Lynx. They caught the Lynx pissed off, though. The Lynx had just lost that Commissioner's Cup game to the Fever. Before that, remember the Mystics were on the road against the Wings, and everybody liked the Mystics, me included. I took their team total over, and they scored 71 points to the Wings. Lost that game and didn't cover either, man. The Mystics are one of those teams that, boy, you just have no idea what you're going to get. No idea what you're going to get. But real quick, if we look at the Storm at home and let's just say they're laying 2 possessions. So the line's bigger than 5.5, just 1-3 against the spread. Just 1-3 against the spread, 3-1 to the under are the Mystics. Are the Storm at home. They typically play defense in this spot. 3 opponents have gone under their team total. and they're only giving up an average of 73 points in this spot. So that lends itself to an under. It lends itself to a Mystics team total potentially under. The Storm may even struggle to score. They're under their team total in 3 of these 4 games as well when they've landed double, 2 possessions at home as well. So, like I said, it's a tough slate for me today with some of these games. The ones that I really like a lot. The ones that I don't want anything to do with them. Resource says also like Shakira Austin under her 22.5 points plus rebounds. Seattle, it's crazy. So real quick, I'm glad you mentioned this. So I just want to share this with you guys, and I'll get into a quick recap and we'll get off here. So the Seattle Storm, this is so interesting to me. We know if you like Shakira Austin, you think that she's going to be able to, if you like her over, you think she's going to be able to score in the paint. If you like her under, then you think that, the Storm defense is going to be able to kind of slow her down. So the Washington Mystics are a team that really, struggles to shoot the ball, right? They're 8th in 3-point shooting on the full season. They're 10th in the last 5 games. They struggle above the break. They struggle. They don't shoot a lot. They actually shoot the fewest threes in the WNBA. They take and make the fewest threes in the WNBA, both last 5 games and full season. So if we're thinking about Shakira Austin, right, you're thinking about, scoring in the paint, scoring in the restricted area. That's where the Mystics like to score. They're second in makes and attempts, second in makes, third in attempts over the full season. And you think about the Storm defense. Okay, all right, cool. We got Ezzy out there. We got Malunga out there. We got Neko Ogumake out there. The Seattle Storm defense they allow the second most makes and the second most attempts in the paint. They just get out. It's crazy to think that, because you're like, how with all that size and length and athleticism you got down there, but they do not do a good job of guarding the paint for whatever reason. So Shakira Austin, no idea. Restricted area, they do a really good job. 4th and 5th, and an opponent makes and attempts, but for whatever reason, they give it up in the paint. They're also 10th in opponent free field goal percentage in the paint as well. Teams are shooting about 43%. So just take with that information, do what you guys want, man. Let's get into a quick recap and get ready to get out of here. Ball out says Storm really don't rebound. They are, let's see, rebounds. The Storm they give up the second most offensive rebounds, and they give up the most rebounds overall. That's a fact. That's a reason I actually like the Mystics too, because the Mystics are a great rebounding team. The Mystics are 6th in offensive rebound and number 1 in defensive rebounding, 3rd overall in rebounding as well. So great point by here about Ball Out. I like that. I like that a lot. Somebody on the Mystics can go over their rebound prop as well. I'd be forgetting that the Storm struggle with rebounding, even though they got so many big players and athletic players as well. I kind of agree. I'm gonna add Mystics plus the points on to my short list as well. Washington plus, you can get a 7 right now, but you can't wait to see if the line continues to go up. Like I said, don't really like the spot with them traveling from east to west first game, but I don't want to lay 7 at home with the Storm either. All right, we did a pretty good job. Been on here for a while. Everything that we talked about is right here, right? If you had a chance to tune in, Dallas plus the points, Atlanta plus the points, or Atlanta team total over. Bree Jones over her rebounds, Leonie Phoebus under 9.5 points, Arike Gumbawale under 16.5, Kelsey Plum over 5.5 assists. Connecticut either plus the points or team total over, and then Washington plus the points as well. These are the ways that I would play today, man. I hope you guys catch whatever it is that you play. Link for all, and I haven't, to be transparent, I haven't bet anything today. I have not placed one single bet today. But I know it's some things on this list that I'm gonna end up playing for sure, that hopefully haven't moved too much by the time that I play them. But the link is in the description if you guys want to sign up for my plays. Resources, as always, are listed here. Check them out. And I wish you guys the best, man. Enjoy the matchups today. We got 2 games tomorrow, 2 games on Tuesday, and then I think we're done throughout the All-Star break, which is All-Star weekend is next weekend in the WNBA. But hit the like button for me on the way out. If you're new to the show, subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on so you know when I go live. And that'll be it for today's show, man. Best of luck on whatever it is you guys are betting. Enjoy the games, enjoy your Sunday, and I will catch you guys in the next one.